I used to look at failure as a barrier to growing in my faith or getting close to God. But what I found through a series of events that caused me to get into a season of depression, failure at work, failure in my family life, failure in other areas, I believe that God didn't initiate those, but I believe that He allowed them because it was only in those failures that I realized something very important, something that I knew intellectually, but I didn't know experientially. And that is sometimes God will bring you to the point of failure so that you could learn not to rely on self, but on Him. You see, the illusion is that we are self made and we got everything by our hands, but the reality is every breath is a gift from the living God. And we learn to live in the dependency upon Him, then you could truly draw from His power and His source. If not, you'll rely on self. So don't rely on yourself. We were never intended to be these people who are just self made because God gets none of the glory. But if we walk in this world and realize that it's only by His hand that we could live, move, breathe, and do things, then that's a great place to start. It's not a lack of confidence. It's not a lack of going out there and trying and trying to get better and do things, but it's just an acknowledgement of what's already there. If you don't start with God, you're going to be off base in every other area of your life because He is the author of life. And so I'm reminded what Paul said, that he was out doing things for the living God, living for Him, planting churches, preaching the good news. And it says in Second Corinthians 1 that he got to the point where he felt that he had the sentence of death. And I'm sitting there thinking, bro, you're working for God. Surely He's going to intervene because you're doing His mission, His will. But it was like the Lord said, I'm just going to camp out here for a little bit and I'm going to let you go through it. And his conclusion was, he said that happened that he might not rely on himself, but he will rely on the living God who raises the dead. And that's where he placed his hope. And I pray that's where I am. Gone are the days where just being a nice church person or religious, that just doesn't cut it in this world. As the days get evil, we need a living, tangible God that we walk with. And I'm not saying you might have all these wonderful spiritual experiences, but the truth of God is what drives you because His word is tied to Him and He is not a liar. He wants to walk with us. He didn't want us to use priests and mediators and all that other stuff. He wanted us to know Him personally. And I pray that's what you're pursuing. That's what I'm trying to pursue. I always don't get these things right, but I'm realizing now I've relied on myself way too much. I need the living God. I want to walk with Him. I want to know Him. I want to know what it means to hear His voice. And I'm going to put all those other things in the past behind. Don't want to be a church guy. I want to be a follower of the living God. And I pray that's where you're going to. We need it. I'm telling you, the world's setting things up. They're going to confuse us with the AI, the technology, the one world government. All these things are going in place, but yet God is greater than all of that because He's defeated it. But if you're not walking in Him, you're going to get smoked. And I already see the writing on the wall. It's not a call to live in fear. It's a call to go to the only safe place. Jesus is the only safe place. He's the rock of salvation. He's the person you can go to. He's the one that has all the wisdom. If we would learn how to rely on Him and realize that true power, true substance, and everything comes from His hand and His hand alone. Don't make the mistake that I made in thinking that you could do it apart from Him. We need Him. You need Him. I love you. I pray that this resonates with someone. God bless you.